Hey there, and welcome back to the Declarative Academy, your go-to spot for all things Salesforce, made simple and clear. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our easy-to-follow tutorials. Today, we're diving into a powerful feature that blends visibility with collaboration right inside Salesforce. It's called feed tracking, and it can make a big difference in how your team stays in the loop. By the end of this session, you'll know exactly what feed tracking is, how to enable it, and how to configure it for the objects your users rely on most. And of course, we'll guide you through a hands-on challenge, step by step, so you can put it all into practice. Let's jump in and get started. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is feed tracking? Picture this. You're working with the contact record and suddenly the contact owner changes or the priority on a task gets bumped up. Normally, that kind of update could slip right past you. But what if Salesforce could just tell you automatically? That's where feed tracking comes in. It lets you follow specific fields on a record. So when something changes, Salesforce creates a system-generated post right on that record's chatter feed. And if you're following the record, you'll see that update appear in your own feed too. No extra clicks, no digging around, just real-time visibility. Think of it like a live activity log that keeps everyone aligned without needing to run reports or sift through field history. It's simple, it's automatic, and it keeps the right people in the loop exactly when it matters. Now you might be wondering, what can you actually track with this feature? The good news is Salesforce gives you a lot of flexibility. You can enable feed tracking on a wide range of objects, including standard ones like accounts, contacts, leads, opportunities, cases, and tasks. And it doesn't stop there. You can also use it with custom objects and even external objects, depending on your org's setup. Some fields come pre-configured for tracking, depending on the object. For example, on accounts, you'll typically see account name and account owner tracked by default. On opportunities is usually amount, close date, stage, and owner. As for tasks, they aren't tracked out of the box, but don't worry, we'll take care of that in the hands-on section. One important thing to keep in mind, users will only see feed updates for records they already have access to. So, yes, field level security and sharing rules still apply. Feed tracking respects your org's visibility settings. Also worth noting, if a feed update doesn't get any engagement, like a like or comment, it quietly disappears after 45 days. It's Salesforce's way of keeping the feed clean, relevant, and clutter-free. Here's an important note for those working in Lightning experience. If you want chatter to function on a particular object, feed tracking must be enabled for that object. No feed tracking, no chatter feed. It's that simple. There are just a few exceptions: user, group, and site objects. For those, chatter is always on by default. So if you've ever opened a custom object page and wondered, where did the chatter feed go? Chances are feed tracking hasn't been turned on yet. Flip that switch and the feed will show up. Oh. All right, now it's time to go hands-on and enable feed tracking. We'll start with the contact object. Here's what you need to do. First, head over to Setup, type feed tracking into the quick find box and click on it when it appears. You'll see a list of available objects. Go ahead and select contact. Next, check the box that says enable feed tracking. If it's already checked in your org, great, you're one step ahead. Now comes the part where you make it your own. Select up to 20 fields that you want to track. Be intentional here. More isn't always better. Aim for fields that give meaningful insights, not just noise. Once you've made your selections, click Save, and that's it. You've just activated a system that will now automatically post updates to the chatter feed anytime someone changes one of those fields. A simple setup, but a big step toward real-time collaboration. Now, let's talk about bundling. And no, we're not talking about cable subscriptions. In Salesforce, feed updates are bundled together when multiple tracked fields are changed within a short period of time. So instead of getting a stream of separate notifications for every little change, you get one clean consolidated post that summarizes all the updates. It keeps things tidy, and it's especially useful for high traffic records like key accounts or big opportunities where changes can happen fast and often. By default, Salesforce bundles changes that happen within 1,440 minutes. That's 24 hours. And while you can't adjust that setting directly, Salesforce support can change it for you if there's a real need. One more thing to know, if someone comments on a bundled update, Salesforce breaks it out into its own post. That way, the conversation stays visible and easy to follow, no matter how many changes happened at once. All right, time to roll up our sleeves. In this hands-on challenge, we're going to enable feed tracking for tasks, so your users get notified when an important task details change. Here's how to do it. First, head back into Setup and in the quick find box, type feed tracking. From the list of objects, click on Task. If feed tracking isn't already enabled, go ahead and check the box to turn it on. Next, select these 3 fields to track, assigned to due date and priority. Once you've made those selections, go ahead and hit Save. And that's it. Now, whenever one of those fields is updated, users who followed the task will see the change show up in their chatter feed. It may seem like a small tweak, but it adds a valuable layer of transparency and accountability to how tasks are managed across your team. Let's quickly recap what we covered today. Feed tracking is a powerful way to keep users in the loop. It automatically posts updates to the chatter feed whenever tracked fields are changed. You can enable feed tracking on most standard, custom, and external objects. Just remember, in Lightning Experience, it has to be turned on for an object in order for chatter to work. You can track up to 20 fields per object, but the key is to be selective. Focus on the updates that actually matter to your users, not just what's available. To keep the feed clean and useful, Salesforce bundles updates that happen close together and auto-deletes any post that doesn't get interaction after 45 days. And finally, we walked through how to set up feed tracking for tasks, giving you a practical way to bring more visibility and accountability into your team's daily workflow. That's it, you're ready to start putting feed tracking to work. And that wraps up today's session on feed tracking. If you found this walkthrough helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a comment with your questions or feedback. We always love hearing from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.